So today what we're gonna do is go over a couple of big exercises that I think most people are cheating and they're not getting any better in their other lifts because they're cheating these exercises. So today we're going to exercises commonly cheated. All right, the first big exercise that I see cheated a lot is the tricep pushdown. Now, in and of itself, the tricep pushdown is a pretty easy exercise to understand, but you'd be surprised at how many people screw it up. For instance, if I'm doing a pushdown, I want to keep it all in my elbow and keep my shoulders out of the movement. But a lot of times at normal gyms, what you'll see is the person will throw the shoulder into the movement. The shoulder really likes to assist everything in the tricep. Right? Now this is going to cause not only horrible bench pressing form, but it's not going to keep it in the area intended to grow. So if I keep my elbows tucked, keep them back, and keep my shoulder activation to a minimum, this exercise becomes awesome. But as soon as I start rolling, getting in trouble and doing this, kicking my elbows out and throwing my shoulders down, it's creating a lot of anterior shoulder pressure and it's taking the pressure off the triceps, therefore affecting my bench press form and my shoulder health. The next common exercise you see aggravate a lot of people due to its inability to grow what they're trying to grow is the calf. Now, the calf raise machine is awesome for building the back part of your calf, getting these muscles nice and beefy, but in reality, you see a lot of people struggle to make their calves grow at all. And the reason is because when they're doing these, their tempo is too fast and it's more of a bounce than it is an actual exercise. Remember, the Achilles tendon likes to be used as a big spring. So take away the spring. How do we do that? We slow it down. So if we're doing calf raises, what we want to do is come up 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3, down. Now we've taken away all the stretch reflex of the Achilles tendon. We've made the muscle work way, way harder. And now we probably are going to see some decent growth. So this muscle, along with a lot of others in your body, needs to be trained in more of a tempo-based ideal in order for it to function correctly as far as making it grow. You're a lot stronger bouncing it, but you're not going to create any muscle. Another exercise you see commonly misunderstood and not used correctly is just the basic barbell shrug. Now, a lot of us want to build really big, beefy traps, but the problem is we start turning the shrugs as it either gets too heavy or we start cheating ourselves. We start using a little bit too much arm. So what does that look like? Well, we go down and grab the bar, we pick it up, and then instead of using the muscle like this and which way we intended, we start bending that elbow. So now we've just turned this into an arm exercise more than a trap exercise when they get tired. The trick is I try to flex my triceps as hard as I can, and then I do my shrugs, not only protecting my elbow and my bicep tendon, which we see a lot of people get hurt, but also direct the energy where we want it, which is in the trap. The next exercise you've seen used too much and shares some similarity with the traps is that you start to use lat pull downs and back exercises as more of an arm movement than a lat movement. That's pretty common. The reason I think it's common is because we use our biceps for a lot of stuff throughout the day. So they're not necessarily stronger, they're just better innervated with our brains. So for instance, if I do a lat pull down with a pretty heavy weight, the way that I can cheat it and not do it correctly is I bend the elbow first. Now see, this might look to the average person like a pull down, but I'm not hardly using any back muscle. I'm using almost all bicep. How to correct that is when I go to pull this down, I focus on all back muscles first, then pull with the arm. Now I even notice right now that I'm using way more back muscle than I would if I just go to bend my arm this way. So this is cheating, and this is doing it correctly. To the average person, doesn't look like much difference. But the trick is for you guys is make sure you pull with all the back muscles first, then finish with the arm. And that will make sure that the back exercise is an actual back exercise and not just an arm exercise. So the other exercise you see cheated a lot is the box squat. First way is you just use the box as a bouncing point. You don't use it as a real box squat. This is why the two reasons we're gonna show today is why the box squat is not transferable to a lot of people and they think it doesn't work. So the first one's gonna be a bounce. So he's gonna take the bar out, he's gonna walk out, get his body set like where he wants to squat. Now instead of sitting on the box, he's just gonna touch the box and kind of bounce off of it. Okay, rack. That is reason one that you cheat a box squat. So a box squat is meant to sit down on, but there's also another way you can screw it up poorly and make it not transferable, and that is the sit and rock. So he's gonna walk it out and set it up. Now what he's gonna do is he's gonna sit to the box like he should, but instead of sitting there and holding it, he's actually gonna move backwards. He's gonna rock back. Now he's gonna throw himself forward, putting all the weight onto his knee. Do it one more time. He's gonna sit, rock back, and then throw it to his knee. Rack it. So today we went over some common exercises that I see cheated a lot. One being the tricep extension. Fairly simple exercise until you try to keep your shoulders out of the movement, and then you're gonna have a big problem doing it, and you're probably gonna be weaker at first. The next one is a shrug. But then again, another pretty simple exercise, but if you do a lot of bicep work or you're not thinking about it, it can turn into an arm exercise versus a trap exercise. The next is a lat pull down machine. Just small, little, tiny thought patterns before you even attempt to lift the weight are huge, i.e. retract the shoulder blades and then finish with the arm is going to make a back exercise actually hit back muscles. And then the final and probably most important exercise you see cheated all the time is the box squat. So try not to make these big mistakes, try not to cheat your lifts, and that way when you go back to doing the big core lifts, you're actually gonna have some transferability from the accessory exercises and the main lifts that you've been practicing.